What up, my founding fam? Today's training is going to be all about leaning into your discomfort. Tons of fun, right? Something we all love to do. JK. All right, but I'm here to tell you that leaning into your discomfort is a good thing, and I'm gonna tell you why. With discomfort comes growth. What would come of your life if you lived a comfortable life from birth to death? Absolutely nothing. Nothing would come of a comfortable life where you sat at home, you went to your 9 to 5, you raised your kids, you lived your life, and then you died. Doesn't sound very exciting, right? Growth does not happen comfortably. Like, they're called growing pains for a reason. Okay, so while today's training is gonna be a little in your face, something we don't want to do, I'm gonna get this one out of the way first so that you know where I'm coming from, you know what you're about to get in these subsequent trainings. Okay, let's go. Okay, so one of the biggest obstacles in growing your self-awareness and growing that piece of your EQ is the tendency to avoid discomfort. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. No one likes being uncomfortable. Why would you? Why would we? Everyone sells something based on some type of comfort. Whether that's not having to go to the grocery store and getting all of your stuff delivered, or whether that be the Z-Quill that we can give our kids if we need them to sleep on a plane, or the baby Z-Quill, the kids Z-Quill. All of these things solve a problem of discomfort. That can be in any piece of your life. Come on. None of us like being uncomfortable. This is something we can all agree on, but it's something we're going to have to get over ASAP, right? So everyone has situations, circumstances in their life where they feel negative emotions. And two of the biggest emotions that humanity, people, don't like to lean into are feelings of guilt or shame, right? I'm sure we can all think of a time where we felt guilty or we felt shameful. And those are literally like the worst emotions to feel, the worst emotions to lean into. But what happens, right? When we feel those guilt feelings or those shame feelings, we pivot, right? It's automatically eyes on a different prize. I'm going to look this way. I'm going to bury those feelings. I'm going to get myself out of this state of guilt or shame, and I'm just going to ignore it and go do something else. And that's normal. It's totally, totally normal. But what I want you guys to start realizing and to start actively working on, little steps, baby steps. That's all I'm asking here. Is to maybe lean into those emotions a little more. So obviously this isn't going to be your initial inclination, but no matter the emotion that you're feeling, may it be positive or negative, right? I want you to lean into it to go through it. So I'm sure we all have a situation that we can refer back to where we felt a very strong emotion. So we'll use shame or guilt right now for our examples. So think of that time where you felt uber shameful or guilty. It's not a good feeling, right? It has a lot of painful physical effects going through those emotions. But what I want you to understand is that if you don't work on them initially, like early on when it happened, those feelings are going to be re-triggered and they're going to resurface. So no matter how far, how deep you bury them, how much you ignore them, they're always going to be there. So what happens is you get into this cycle of burying or ignoring or using some type of event or substance or something to forget about it, right? So if you can make a deal with yourself that when emotions like that happen, or just strong emotions in general, I want you to go through assessing the emotion. So I don't necessarily want you to sit in the emotion, because sitting in your emotions and just leaving them to stay in your limbic system instead of pushing them through to your rational part of your brain, right? Sitting in those emotions can be super detrimental. But what I want you to do is like take stock of how you're feeling, kind of go through the physical and mental checklist, like start from your toes up, head down, whatever you want to do, go through how you're feeling. So just take stock of how your body is responding. And then I want you to figure out what piece and part of the situation, circumstance, conversation, whatever it was, triggered those feelings. And you will come to a very specific point. This is something that can be pinpointed so easily because it's happening in your body before your mind, your rational brain can react. So there should be a very pointed part, whether that be a sentence, a word, an action, something that happened that triggered those emotions. So if you can figure out what that is, just by taking a couple minutes to assess how you're feeling physically, emotionally, mentally, and trying to figure out why it happened and how it happened, guess what? You just saved yourself a lifetime of triggers. A lifetime. Because guess what? Now you have the rational thought. You have the rational brain of that situation, circumstance, conversation, event, whatever it was, that the next time that something similar or the same thing happens again, your rational brain's going to pick up on it before your emotions do, because you already put in the work. So your body will not feel that way again because you've already worked through it. You've done the job. You've done the work to get to that point where you can recognize the emotion for what it is, and you don't have to feel a certain way about it, about a situation, a circumstance, whatever. If you can get through it once and you can work through it and you can pinpoint, you can find your triggers, you can find those little nuances, right? You don't have to feel that way again. How fun is that? Like, come on. Some people are going to have to work harder at this than others. It just happens that way. I can bring some personality into this and some of our other trainings that are going to be coming. But I promise you, taking this step of leaning into your discomfort is going to help you grow so fast and so strong emotionally, right? Your emotional intelligence is going to go through the roof. And I'm telling you, it's not going to affect just you. It's going to affect the others around you. It's going to affect your household, your business, your side hustle, your husband, your wife, whatever it is. This will pay off dividends down the road. I promise you. But a couple pointers here. Don't be afraid of your emotional mistakes, right? You can't go back and change anything in the past. You can literally work on something now to affect and impact your future, okay? So when you're looking back, so many things running through my mind. But when you look back, we have the tendency to pass over those hard situations, those hard talks, those hard circumstances because we don't want to feel that way. But I want to challenge you. You can do this right now. Take 5 minutes, less than that, and do it. Think of a feeling that was super uncomfortable. Put yourself back in that state. Close your eyes. Think about where you were. Use all of your senses. Try to put yourself back in that situation and then break it down from there. This will help you with the practicing part. So when you're in a situation where you have to do it on the fly, like as something's happening, assessing your emotions and trying to get your emotions through that limbic system to your rational brain, you have the practice because you did it mentally. You visualized it, from a previous event, from previous emotions that you had. So take a couple minutes, go back to that place, to that event, to that emotion, and I want you just to start breaking it down. How were you feeling? Were your palms sweaty? Did you dry mouth? Did it feel like your chest was constricting? Did you feel like you wanted to run? Were your legs real antsy? Just break it down. Break it down, strip it down till there's nothing so that you can then analyze all those pieces and figure it out. I'm telling you, this is going to be so fun to see you work through all these. I cannot wait. But happy training on your lean into discomfort.